Welcome on into Asian Baseball. Today, it's Thursday, so you know you got to be tuned in to get some actionable info for the weekend. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, and always, I got the guys with me, Tokyo Brandon and Adam Trigger, ready to talk some Korean baseball, a little Japanese baseball as well. I feel like I'm out of uniform, guys. Like both you guys rocking the hats today. I'm going to have to scrounge up a hat around here by the end of the show. But Brandon, I'll start with you, man. How you been doing? You've been cashing tickets since we last talked. It's even shorter than we usually have in between shows. So it's good to see you, man. What's up, Brandon?
Good to see you, and happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. That's my Stevie Wonder. You say it's your birthday. Do. It's my birthday too. That's kind of a stupid song because how many people are going to be talking on their when they both have a birthday? Anyway, I've got the Hanwha jersey today. It's rocking it. Not great luck lately. I've lost 4 games in the last 2 days. With a lead going into the 8th inning. So not really happy with bullpens these days, but still I've won 324% in the last 365 days to be the number 1 all sports profit capper in the last 365. And I have a few plays out today for $9 each in Japanese and in the KBO. So go grab those. And that's about all that's going on today. Happy birthday, man.
Well, Brandon, I appreciate the birthday wishes. Not quite, Marilyn Monroe singing me the happy birthday there, but I'll take it. I'll take it regardless.
Like
Trig,
Marilyn
how you doing?
Manson.
You're not wrong there. Trig, how about you, man? How you been doing? And I think tonight a sheer pass for you. Nothing on the board that was really tickling the fancy there, man.
Yeah, I got the hat on because I was at a golf thing earlier and hair's all messed up, so I had to keep it on. But yeah, weird week for the KBO, right? Like randomly they don't play on Tuesday. Then we actually amazingly got 4 of the 5 games in on Wednesday. Of course, 2 of the games get rained out yesterday. Like Brandon said, I took a couple bad beats with bullpens this week too. One in MLB, I had the Red Sox plus 1.5 2 nights ago. And they lost 9-7 in 11 innings. So that's always a tough beat right there, losing with plus 1.5 in extras. And I had the Kia Tigers against the Samsung Lions on Wednesday, who inexplicably, Dan, pitched to Jose Perella with the game on a line and a base open. It was 2nd and 3rd, no 1 out. He's the best hitter in the league. He's one of the best hitters in the league. You have the base open. A run ends the game, and they pitched to him. So, like Brandon said, I'm not too thrilled with some of the decision-making that's been made in my games. I had a day off today, just nothing that made it there. I would have had KBO this morning, but I knew a couple games I was looking at were going to get rained out. So, I am back in action tomorrow. I've got some NFL preseason up. There's a special on my page right now, and I have a 4%er in KBO for just $9. So head over to my page and check that out.
And that whole bad beat story was told behind the scenes before Wager Talk today. Like, Trig and I were just talking Asian baseball, and they're like, what the hell? Like, Teddy's trying to get ready for the show, and we're just complaining about bad beats on our end. So it never ends around here behind the scenes and on air for Wager Talk today, as well as Asian baseball today. Let's get into our standings updates. My SSG Landers continue to roll 8-2 in their last 10. LG not doing bad, though. 2 straight wins for them. Kiwoom still around that conversation, though. 4 straight losses. KT with 3 straight losses. And we're going to get into Key a little bit later. Trig's going to be breaking down kind of their outlook moving forward. And then you see the kind of best of the rest there. I guess we can put it that way. So, Adam, I want to start with you because you kind of alluded to it right there. And even at risk at Brandon singing another 12 songs, the rain did move through. We did see the rain, Creedence Clearwater Revival, but it's gone now. Things are returning back to normal. Yeah, I knew it. I stole the thunder from you. So the storms rolled through. Anyway. They're done for. But, Trig, how do you see it kind of affecting these teams just in the short term moving forward?
Well, yeah, like I said, Dan, I was actually really surprised that we got 4. You looked at the forecast. It did not look like they were going to play 4 games on Wednesday, but they did. So the one thing I'll just point out, sort of the glaring things that happened as a result of some cancellations. Hanwha and LG have not played since Sunday. Because remember, Tuesday, there was no games, which is rare. Normally, Tuesday's a full day of games. Monday's usually the off day. The extra off day this week means Hanwha and LG both haven't played since Sunday. As expected, and I'll talk about this more later in the show, Kia did get their rain out. Kia and Samsung got the day off yesterday, and I'll talk about what that effect that might have later in the show when we highlight Kia. The one sort of underlying one that probably doesn't quite stand out, the NC Dinos, I was certain their game against Doosan would be canceled. It wasn't. The rain held off, and they got the game in. But I think that puts NC in a tough spot. I said on Tuesday's show that NC, I like this team as a team that could make a run, but they really have a hard, their pitching got crushed recently with Wes Parsons getting let go because he's injured. So they got to get another import guy in there. And then and Chang Mo Koo goes on the IL. So I really thought NC would have benefited from a cancellation this week. They didn't get it. But they did win both of their games against Doosan, but they had to play, right? So, and yesterday they needed their bullpen guys to get that win. So I'll leave you guys with some actionable info. NC is going to throw Drew Rosinski tomorrow. He's a stud. He's their guy. They're gonna ask him to give him, as many pitches as they possibly can. But if you can live bet KBO, and for some reason NC falls behind, or they're trailing, because he's going up against Robert Stock, so it's a good pitching matchup, right? And this could affect the total as well. If NC doesn't feel like they have a chance to win with him on the mound at some point, they're going to throw their scrub relievers because they need all of their good bullpen guys for Saturday and Sunday. They really don't have anyone left.
Yep.
So what you could do with that, you might see the writing on the wall for a Doosan win, or maybe you take an in-game over, knowing that once those other NC bullpen guys, if they're down 3, Rusinski comes out, there's still 3 innings to play. Take an in-game over because you're probably going to get a bunch of garbage runs with scrub relievers for NC as they try to save their top bullpen guys for the weekend series because they're really running low on pitching.
How about a little actionable info right off the top from our man, Adam Trigger? You can check him out, wt.buzz/AT. Brandon, you wanted to get into a little bit more of scoring and specifically how teams are doing, not just on a per game basis. You dove deep and you want to talk per inning basis. So, Brandon, floor is yours, man.
And I wonder who'll stop the rain. Yeah, you stole my thunder, man. I had that plan since before the game. Who's going to do a CCR reference in a Korean baseball show? But anyway, put the graphic up. Take a look at this. I'll keep it short and sweet. But up there at the top, you see 1 bet, 2 bet, 3 bet. Bet doesn't mean bet. It means better. So this is another how the sausage is made, as Dan likes to say. And he'll probably be eating some sausage later on for his birthday dinner. But so when I do league averages, what I do is 100% is average. Everyone, that's the average, is 100%. So 1, 2, 3, 4 at the top, that's innings. So first inning, second inning, third inning. So what this graph represents is how well a team hits or how well they score runs in a particular inning as compared to the rest of the league. So basically, just take a screenshot of this. Anything over 100% means they're above average, and anything under 100% means they're below average. So if you take a look at 1 bet column right there, that's the first inning. Are they better? Bet means better. Better than the league. Better or worse than the league. So in the first column there, you see 57% for SSG. That means SSG is not a good hitting team in the first inning. They're not a good run scoring team in the first inning. So who does hit well in the first inning? Well, 138 is the highest there. That's NC. So NC has the best hitting in the first inning. And LG also at 125 is a good first inning team. So those teams tend to jump out at the beginning of the game. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but 8th inning is kind of important too, because that's at the end of the game when the game's on the line. And are they clutch hitters in the 8th and 9th inning? 9th inning, I wouldn't look at too much, because if you're winning and you're the home team in the 9th inning, it's a 0. It doesn't count against your average. But some teams don't even bat in the ninth inning sometimes, depending on how the score is going. So I look at the eighth inning to look at clutch hitting. So clutch hitters in the eighth inning, LG 201%. They hit double the league average in the eighth inning. So LG is definitely a come from behind team, or just a foot on the throttle kind of team at the end of the game. LG absolutely clutch. Kia also hits well at the end of the game, and you can see every other team does not hit very well in the eighth inning. So that's just a little thing. Screenshot that. That's how well teams hit per inning on a per inning basis. This is just another inside look to how I cap games, and screenshot that and take it with you.
Brandon, I hope, with all the money people have won back in your Asian baseball plays, and your whole card's doing well in MLB as well, I hope that they upgrade their phone storage, because they're starting to run out of room with all these screenshots that you're giving them with this info on how they can handicap games by themselves. This guy's giving you the whole entire kit and caboodle, Brandon.
This stuff changes daily, though, so the screenshots are only good for about a week or so. But still,
this
is just an inside look. Maybe on one show when we have a lot of time, I will open up the whole notebook and show you an entire thing secrets. Of how I cap.
It's like that Frodo Baggins gif where it's like, oh, you keep your secrets. You keep those secrets, Tokyo Brandon. People can grab the plays and the all access to get those secrets right there. But we give plenty of free information out across all Wager Talk shows. Guys, let's get into our featured game here today. We're going to be taking a look at the KT Wiz. They're trying to snap that 3-game skid I alluded to earlier as they're facing the top team in the league. It's my Landers. So, Brandon, I'm going to give you first crack at this one. How are you handicapping this game?
Sure. So I picked this game. I'm due to the time difference, I'm always the one to throw my notes out first on our internal message board. So I threw this game out with a question mark next to it. Is this okay? Usually I just pick the best teams who are fighting for a playoff spot or fighting for first place. So in this game, we got Wilmer Font going against Ko Young Pyo. And Ko Young Pyo is one of the better Korean pitchers out there. And Wilmer Font is a top 3 pitcher in the league. So how do you break this game down? Well, the first thing I look at is starting pitching, then I look at bullpen, then I look at hitting, and then recent form. SSG has a slight advantage in the starting pitcher, obviously. Wilmer Font is better, but KT has the bullpen advantage, and SSG has a slight hitting advantage, and they're also in a little bit better form. But when you dig a little deeper, Ko Young Pyo has only given up 4 earned runs in his last 3 starts. He's given up 3 earned against SSG in April, but that was way back in April. That was his first start of the season. Wilmer Font has given up 2 earned runs versus KT. He's got 14 strikeouts and 0 walks against KT. He's given up 5 earned runs in his last 3 starts. So these pitchers, I look at them as pretty dead even, actually. I don't see a lot of runs being scored here. If you look at the form in the last week, my numbers say SSG scoring 4.5 runs a game, where KT scoring 3.3. Low scoring game. If you add that up, it's 7 point, close to 8. But I look at a low score, and when I look at a low score and pretty even pitching, this is actually a client play I put out. If you can get first 5 run lines, I looked at the line. SSG is way too much of a favorite in my eyes, because I look at the starting pitching as fairly even. So KT in the first 5 innings plus a half run was a really good price. So it was plus money, actually. So I'm going to take that. I'm going with KT in the first 5 plus a half run, because I look at these teams fairly equal, almost dead even in the first 5 innings.
Man, that's brutal. I don't like hearing right out of the gate. Could be looking at a tough situation for my Landers here. Are you thinking the same thing, Trig? Am I going to have to take my fan hat off and bet the other way in this one? How are you breaking it down?
Yeah, so, Brandon and I don't always agree in this section, but today we've got a little correlated, I guess, best bet you could call it from this section. The way I would look would be KT plus 1.5. Dan, I love my plus 1.5 road teams. Yep. Obviously, they get the extra at bat. The only thing that really is, a couple things are keeping me off or making it a client play. First, it's a little expensive. It's up in the minus 140 range, which is a little bit more than I like to pay for the plus 1.5. I usually try to keep that, on the, the minus 120, minus 125, minus 130 range. But hey, sometimes if you're going to pay the premium on the plus 1.5, make sure you do it with the road team, right? Because at least you're essentially paying not only for the free run, but you pretty much get the free at bat. And that's what you're getting here. Now, SSG has been a tough team to go against at home. They're 38-12 at home this year, Dan. So that gives me a little bit of pause. Also, they've played extremely well of late. Brandon alluded to it. Without a doubt, they're in better form. But I kind of come back to the same thing that Brandon already pointed out. There's not a huge difference here between Wilmer Font and Young-Kyo Ko, even though Font is priced as if he's the far superior pitcher. And I would also agree with Brandon with the respect that they have the bullpen advantage. KT is a better bullpen here. SSG is deep, but they haven't quite figured out how to use all these arms effectively yet, all these extra arms that they have that could be starting pitchers. So until they do that, I still think their bullpen is their weak link, if you will. I think if I was going to bet this game, I haven't got to the window with this one yet, but KT Wiz plus 1.5 is the way I would look. So Brandon likes the first 5 run line. I like the full game run line. It's kind of a big game for KT after losing the last couple. So I wouldn't be all that surprised if they stole one and got the nice plus money price as well.
There you go. Both our experts looking towards KT in different ways. Hop in the comments and let us know what you think about our featured game here today on Asian Baseball Today. Brandon, I'm going to start with you because I want to get Trig's thoughts. He's going to look a little bit more of a team overview that's going to be coming up here in just a few moments. You wanted to break down a series going on in the Japanese side of things. We got the Hiroshima Carp, who've been good to us recently, and the Yomiuri Giants that you wanted to break down. So the floor is yours for your series preview, Brandon.
Okay, let's do it. Just a quick reference back to Adams. I do like the full game KT plus 1.5 as well, but the first 5 run line was such a great price, so I jumped on that instead. And I actually did put that out as a client play, but I do like the full game plus 1.5 as well. I just think, those two pitchers are fairly even, and Wilmer Font gets a little too much respect there. So jumping into the Japanese league, this is actually going to be my best bet at the end of the show as well in this series. You can probably take the hint of which way I'm going to go here, but I won't let the cat fully out of the bag yet. He'll just meow a little bit until we get to the best bet section. 2 teams that hit very well and have terrible bullpens. So you can kind of guess where I'm going to go. These are 2 of the better hitting teams. And when I do my stats, at the beginning of the year, I make 6 runs in. I make 6. 6.5. I put 6.5 as kind of the benchmark, and then I grade teams if they go over 6.5 or under 6.5, and I just keep a tally. The Hiroshima Carp have gone over 6.5 58% of the time, and the Yomiuri Giants have gone over 6.5 60% of the time. So these are 2 of the biggest over teams in Japanese baseball. Out of 12 teams, we have the Giants with the 12th ranked bullpen and the Carp with the 9th ranked bullpen. They're both awful. Neither team has a very good starting rotation either. So in this series, if you see 3.5 team totals, especially for the Carp, I would bet the over. If you see any game totals of 7 or 7.5, although they probably won't be that gracious to put that out, I would take over 7 any day. Probably we'll see a bunch of 8s, which I would lay off. But even when it's an 8, if the team total is 3.5, definitely an over situation. I like the Carp over better just because of Yomiuri's terrible bullpen and the fact that the Carp are on the road and they get 9 innings of full at-bats. So that's how I'm going to approach this series, and my best bet will be in this game as well.
So a nice handicap there and a little cat's meow. You'll have to stay tuned to the end to find out what that meow is quite saying. So, Adam, I really like what you're doing here. Series have kind of gotten shaken up here a little bit. So with the moving forward, you kind of wanted to do a little bit more of an overview of how you see the short term working out for Kia. So I have the floor for you, Trig. How are you going to attack this moving forward?
Yeah, so I'm still doing I guess you would call it a series breakdown. But remember, Dan, with the week is weird this week because There was no games Tuesday. So really it's a 3-game series followed by a 2-game series. So we have normally we're starting a new series on Friday. This week we've got the series finale and then a new series on Saturday and Sunday. So I'm essentially just going to look at the Kia Tigers. They were a team I looked at earlier in the week. I thought this week lined up really nicely for them. I thought a rainout would help them immensely, and they got the rainout yesterday. Now, they cost me on Wednesday. They managed to lose to Samsung in extra innings, which, listen, I'll tip my cap. Albert Suarez pitched well, pitched way better than I expected him to, and really both the starting pitchers for Kia and Samsung on Wednesday pitched tremendous, and Samsung's bullpen showed up for the first time in a while. Kia's did as well, but Samsung was able to squeak it out in extras. Really questionable decision there by Kia's manager. But they got the rain out yesterday, so Kia gets to reset. But what that also does for them, it's going to let them move Gi-young Im to the bullpen in the short term. And I think that's huge for Kia because right now, Kia they have one of the best offenses in the league. Now, they haven't necessarily hit recently, but this is still one of the top offenses in the league. Socrates Brito is back. 1-9, they're as good as any offense in the KBO. And now you're going to get their big issues been bullpen arms. But if you can move him to the bullpen, then here's how the weekend shapes up. You're going to have Hyunjong Yang tomorrow, which unfortunately is the reason I kind of can't bet Kia tomorrow as a client play because it's already up to like minus 150, minus 160. And I think that's a little bit pricey considering Samsung's got Tae-in Wan on the mound, who's really like the one pitcher I don't really want to go against right now on Samsung. He's been solid, but I still lean Kia in that game. That's tomorrow's game. The new series is what I really want to focus on here, and that's Kia versus the Lotte Giants. Now, the Lotte Giants are going to get some guys back, but they somehow, the last 2 days, have managed to beat Kiwoom with like a AAA type roster and just a couple really good pitching performances. Inexplicable, really, how they were able to beat Kiwoom in both of those games. And they needed Dan Straley, who returned from the States, and Charlie Barnes to throw gems for it to happen. What's going to happen is Lotte's going to get to Kia this weekend on the road, and they're going to have no pitching. They're going to have the back end of their rotation, and their bullpen's already a mess anyway. Whereas Kia, they're priced as if their bullpen's not very good, but really it's going to be Yuli Lee getting the start on Saturday, Sean Nolan on Sunday, and they're going to be able to go with Gi-young Im out of the bullpen, which actually could be a really nice change of scenery for him because he's been struggling a little bit as a starter. So I really like how the weekend sets up for Kia. I would not be at all surprised if they sweep Lotte in those games. And I will save my Kia Samsung take for the best bet section.
And the brooms potentially coming out, according to our man, Adam Trigger. Well, it's going to make you wait for it. We already made you wait for Brandon's best bet, so I'll throw it your way, Brandon. I do want to let people know, loaded right now on Tokyo Brandon's page is a $9 money line play for Japanese baseball, so you can grab that right this moment. We got, plus 324 in profit the last 365. So that's number one at Wager Talk. If you ever need an excuse to grab Brandon's play, I don't think you really do. Brandon, you got a free one for him, though. What do you got? Best bet time on Asian baseball today.
I do, yeah. So Lips is going to the bullpen, huh, Adam? Im Gi-young. That guy's like Mushmouth from Fat Albert. He does have a good-looking girlfriend, though. But, anyways, yeah, Kiwoom came so close to winning my bet, and they blew it. Couldn't believe that. Kiwoom is such a better team than Lotte. But anyway, my best bet, alluding to what I was talking about earlier, the Carp and the Giants definitely going to go over in this series. And tonight's game, the Giants are throwing out a guy named Hotta on the mound, and Hotta has a 4.89 FIP. He is not a good pitcher. He has a 1.45 whip, and I expect the Carp to be able to get to him. He only averages 4.5 innings per outing, which means the Carp will be able to crush the worst bullpen in the league for the better half of the game, 4 innings or so. So I like the Carp at 3.5 over. That was a team total that they released, like I said, in this series. Anytime you can get the Carp 3.5 over, definitely take it. This is a client play I put out, and I'll give it for free here. Carp over 3.5 is my best bet for today.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You made making my notes for the show very easy, because just 2 days prior, it was Hiroshima Carp over the 3.5. Brandon going back to the well there on today's edition. Won. So, Adam, you broke down kind of how you see that Lotte and Kia series breaking out. Kia, Samsung, best bet time. How are you breaking this one down?
Yeah, so guys, I still like the Kia Tigers a lot in this game. Really, remember, I've said this so many times. I say this on every show. We bet numbers. We don't bet teams. And for as much as I like Kia here, I can't fully justify. I can't come out and fire like a 4% client play or a client play at all at this number, because I think the number's too high. Like -155, -160 when you have to go up against Tae-In-Wan, who's a really good pitcher, in my opinion, is just too much. With that being said, if I'm taking the next best thing, right, you can get my best bet for $9 up on my page. The next best thing, in my opinion, here is going to be Kia Tigers money line. Again, I just think they're a far superior team. I talked about this earlier in the week. I have Samsung rated dead last in my power rankings. I think they are the worst team in the league right now. And outside of their starting pitcher here, I just don't think they stack up in any category. Hyunjin Yang for Kia is still at least an equal to Tae-In-Wan, in my opinion. But what you're getting with Kia is advantages across the board in other categories. A far better lineup, a better bullpen. Because remember, Kia, when their bullpen's rested, they're okay, and they got the day off yesterday. So Kia Tigers -155 will be my best bet for the show. But if and as I said earlier, the Kia Tigers this weekend, I think, will be a good bet pretty much across the board. I expect a big weekend for the Tigers, and Kia Tigers -155 is my show best bet for Friday morning.
Plenty of actionable info across the board, and both of these guys have some plays loaded, some of those big ticket plays loaded. So check it out. Head on over to their pages at wagertalk.com. That's wt.buzz/AT for my man Trig, wt.buzz/TB will get you right to Tokyo Brandon's page. So that's going to do it for us, guys. I told you I was going to scrounge up a hat so I can be a part of the crew here for the end of the show. So this is how we're going to be looking when we're out at the meet and greet coming. We only have one more show until we'll be heading to Vegas for the meet and greet. So I'm pumped up to finally meet you guys in person. We hope you come out and join us, and we will see you Monday. Thank you, brother, tonight on Asian Baseball Today.